Hey everybody, you're listening to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monkey. With me as always is the Mr. Gimpy. What's up?
I'm doing good, man. I gotta say before we start, I didn't realize this was Chip After Dark, dude. You got the real sultry Barry White going on today. You're seems like you're trying to sex the microphone, dude. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm just working the microphone. I'm just getting a little spirit on it.
I got you.
No, man.
Yeah, man. I got the coffee ready to go right now.
I was up talking all day yesterday. We're playing video games. I canceled other plans. Like other people were like, my family was like, "Hey man, you trying to come out to taco night with us?" I was like, "Nah, I'm playing video games today." And they're like, "What the fuck, bro?" And I was like, "Yeah, I made these plans yesterday. These are real plans. This is legitimate weekend plans for me."
That's true. Playing video games, a lot of times, man, as a fully functioning adult, we don't take time for ourselves. So if it's to the point where you have to schedule time to play a video game, man, stick with that schedule because you need to unwind. I know you've been working your ass off all week, so
man, this is a crazy work week. We had a bunch.
Where were you getting tacos from? Was it like homemade or?
Yeah, it's homemade. According to the professor, they're amazing. He was like, they're the best damn tacos he ever had in his life.
Want some fucking birria tacos? Remember that fucking juice? Remember that meat juice?
I don't know. I didn't want too many details. I didn't want to live in regret, dude.
Oh man, that's gonna be my lunch in about 4 hours here, dude. That sounds delicious.
How about you, man? How you been up to? What's going on with you?
As you know, like dealing with that sickness, man. Still, I'm just stuffy now. A little bit of a cough still, but I feel fine overall. I'm not running a mile or anything, but I feel all right. Yeah, man. It's been good. Been working on our other project outside of this, man. So I actually got some time for that, and I got some time literally scheduled this week to do it. I have like 2-hour blocks every day scheduled during my work day to do this. So I think I told you how my work works. As long as I don't have like a project that's on like the top, I have my own personal projects that I can complete during work time because it's supposed to elevate me within my position.
Hey man, you're learning some scripting, some programming. I am creative works.
So yeah, I'm using that time to do that. I'm hoping to knock out about 4 full eps.
Dang.
I think if I can knock out 4, I'll show them to you. If we like it, I'll just keep going. When we get to 10, we can just start popping stuff out.
Nice, man.
That's the thought. I'm just it's hard because I'm doing like the voice acting stuff myself as well. And I'm using some AI stuff to like switch to like a female voice and stuff like that. But like with me being so stuffy, I have to re-record it like 4 or 5 times before I get it to where I personally like it. Like I'm sure it'd be fine on the first pass. People are like, who gives a shit, right? I get to the point where I want it to be like, I don't want to say perfectionist, but it's close to. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a way it sounds in my head that I want to get as closely matched as possible. So
it's always the artistic endeavor, man. It's trying to match what's in your head to what's on paper.
And I'm usually pretty good about getting close enough or willing to move on, but I think some of the things with like audio I'm very nitpicky about.
It's immediate and you have direct control over it, and it's not like anything else extra you have to do. You're like, get this right.
Yeah, exactly. And then dude, just really working on knocking these betas out, man. I feel like I work 2 jobs now, man. Honestly, with all these betas that have been going on, man. Let's get into. There's the biggest beta probably in 2 years is happening right now, and that's the Diablo IV beta. Which before we get into that, I just want to say it's been like 2 weeks of betas. Ghost of Tabor, which got its early access release on Steam.
They're gonna do a movie now
Oculus
based on that.
On Ghost of Tabor.
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe it was a different movie or game.
There was a title. Yeah, there's different like military movie, kind of like a Last Picnic and all that stuff. But
just throw that out there, man. Whatever. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Deal with it, dude.
Sure.
I'll just say it very confidently and just keep moving onward, man. Nobody will fact check this.
But yeah, game released in a pretty buggy state, but the raids were fixed, and doing like Escape from Tarkov style raids in VR is very intense. When I
Sweet.
was playing, and I was playing it in the Discord for the boys on the alpha test,
Oh,
I either missed or maybe it wasn't in or something. Like you can actually, if you don't have weapons, you can walk up behind people and break their necks
ah,
in VR. So you walk up behind them, just like twist,
yeah.
snaps their neck. So that's pretty sick. So my mission in life is to go into a raid and try and break someone's neck. So that's pretty cool. That
Life's
alpha
only.
led to a shit ton of fixes before release, and when they had their official like early access launch, they had like 3 days of a bunch of fixes that they released too. So I mean, did the alpha sort out excuse me, a lot of issues? Yes. Did they still have issues to sort out when they actually launched? This is why you launch early access. People like a larger portion of the community were pissed because they're like, how come this wasn't fixed before? Well, they had a true alpha test. And now they're using early access as what early access is meant for. You're paying to get early access to the game to help squash bugs before the game is considered fully released.
Yeah, you're paying to do a job of somebody else who used to do this.
Exactly.
You're like,
So
let me pay for the honor
you're
of
paying
like
for the
helping.
privilege of being a beta tester. Exactly.
Yeah, whereas like
Exactly.
beta test is like a legitimate job, the Q&A testing and all this stuff, where it's like you're supposed to go through, find and report bugs that you find, like any glitches, any exploits that you can think of to try and do like some basic ones like wall glitch, item duping,
Exactly.
getting hard stuck in quest, this kind of stuff.
Exactly. The other alpha test that I was doing the week prior was for another VR game that's basically VR Rainbow Six Siege called Breachers. That game was a lot more polished than Ghost of Tabor, but that game's scope isn't as large as recreating Escape from Tarkov within the VR space. There were some minor bugs in that game, some like voice chat squad quibbles that they worked out really quickly. That game's release is scheduled for April 13th. Um,
Dang.
so they had a longer gap between alpha and their now beta that they're doing. I hope that goes very well for them. But those were two games that I requested access for these alphas, or just found it on GitHub, and they were legitimate alphas. Which after I want to say it's been about 15 years of beta tests, stress tests, community tests, not being true. They've been basically
Yeah,
marketing ploys or like free limited time demos to play this
yeah.
game to
Before
get
it
you to
comes
buy
out
it.
next week, get ready. It's like kind of like a quick demo to like try and build up some hype or something, or to get more
Exactly.
pre-orders in
And
last minute.
Battlefield 2042 being a very, very big uh, proponent of that style of marketing, and Call of Duty being a big usage of that style of marketing.
Yeah,
Now, uh, going back into it,
it's in the
Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is made by a AAA studio of Blizzard, and it's been over a
Blizz
decade
nasty.
since they've made a Diablo game, and over a decade
Dude,
since they've
oh, you
done
don't have cell phones?
right. Well, you know what I
The
mean. You know what I
Immortal,
mean.
dude. The game's
Um,
printing money for them, dude.
it is, but
I was
I'm
telling
talking about a true
everybody,
Diablo game. I'm not talking about a mobile
uh, we got into the beta or whatever to beta test.
for
That game was,
Immortal.
yeah, it was,
Oh, okay.
or no, the new one for
Yeah,
it was
okay.
busted for us. We couldn't get like multiplayer to work. We couldn't get cross-platform to work. Everything was breaking. The servers were always full.
Yep.
At a certain point, I was just like, how come they just can't let me run this game locally without connecting to the internet and do like LAN? This is ridiculous. That I have to connect up to their server just to play like a LAN with everybody else. Like
You
this is,
know why though?
yeah, because Diablo Immortal is printing them money, dude. So they're
No,
like, how can we get you online to our servers?
no, no.
Oh, okay.
It's because this is a true beta. It's a true stress
Wait,
test, and you're testing the online components. They're making sure it
yeah,
works. Why would you do LAN? That's not going to help anybody. That's not going to help
it's
them
gonna help
release
me
the
play
game.
the game.
It's going to help you play the game, but that's not what it's for. This
Yeah,
isn't. This isn't for your enjoyment. And your
PC's
enjoyment is
not
just
that
like a.
game. Yeah, if it was for your
Your
enjoyment,
enjoyment
they'd make something that
is
works.
a byproduct of their testing. You're helping them test.
I did
You
not
know,
have fun testing their game for them.
but this is
We
what it
did get
was.
into a couple of games,
Uh,
so it was all right.
I'll say this though, before we talk about whether we like Diablo 4 or not, um,
80 gigs.
they're the first AAA studio in over a decade to have a true beta test to show kind of their bare ass to people,
Yeah. I
and
thought this
we're
was
not
like a
used to it as a
Fallout
public. Yeah,
76 scenario because like after like a day of trying to get this fucking thing to work, I like turned to the boys and was like, "Is this game like coming out in a week or two, man? Because like this is not going to go well for them if this is like their show." And they're like, "Oh no, it's like in like 6 months." And I was like, "Oh, that's plenty of time to fix like a lot of these like core like networking issues." Like,
yeah, and in this game's case, it's about 3 months from now, which I think they're far enough along that that's about right. To
yeah,
tweak server capacity, which I think is the biggest issue, is how many servers do you allocate for this?
yeah,
And then
a lot.
other minor things like the full screen bug that was there, which I'm pretty sure like later builds of the game have it fixed. So
Yeah,
stuff like
we
that.
couldn't get the game to play on like high res. Like it kept on eating all my memory.
Yep,
And I heard
yep.
like
I'm
multiple
sure
people had
there's
that
like
problem.
a memory leak somewhere, which I mean, those are stuff you just kind of patch on the fly. You don't notice
Yeah,
until you test on multiple hardware because everyone at Blizzard, they're going to have the same hardware specs
yeah.
across the board.
I heard like the least problematic area for them was like console players. Like everybody I
Yep.
talked to on that, like they maybe experienced one crash or something while trying to connect to somebody on a PC or like some crash doing something. But like I heard they had a great time playing this damn game. Maybe, I was like, I should have
You could play it on
started my
console right now,
Xbox.
dude, if you really
Yeah,
wanted to. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. I was like, damn, maybe I'm missing out.
Yeah, I've been playing it on my Series X, and I tried it on my PS5 as well. Both work flawlessly. Um, I I could party with my wife. I was on a console, she was on a different console. We cross-platform partied, and it worked fine.
Nice.
Cross-platform with PC for whatever kept breaking.
Yeah,
Which I'm sure this is a true beta test.
yeah.
Those are things that you have to figure out. But obviously, it works in other titles. It works in Overwatch. It works in Diablo
Fortnite.
2, the Diablo 2 Resurrected. It works. So we know it will work, but you have to test these things.
Can we just get Diablo Immortal on PC?
It is on PC now.
Is it? Well, maybe we should just play that, guys.
No.
Yeah,
The monetization is shit.
I'm sure like this is like gonna move in that direction though, man. I felt like they had like a lot of areas for hooks and that sort of thing. Like I don't know if you like play with like any of the clan features and stuff that were in the game where you're like, all right, man, they're looking like a lot of mobile tropes in this clan features. It's also weird that Blizzard has like so many networking issues when they had like the biggest like networking game of all
Battle.net,
time.
World of
Yeah.
Warcraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft with their BattleNet, like the
Yeah.
StarCraft scene has always been huge, always been like very competitive. So you don't want any latency, any lag. They've always had like high level competitions as well, like on the backbone of their servers with like
Yeah.
I know they've done stuff with like Hearthstone and stuff, but
Yep.
it's nowhere near as like complex as like this with like, all the items and ints and
I think
everything else.
items, generation, world events that are dynamically assigned. I
Yeah.
think, and if you noticed, your world is is always populated with people. There's
Yeah,
people just
people
running
run around.
around. I actually thought that was great. It makes the world feel lived in.
Yeah.
It makes like you're not alone on this quest to kill Lilith.
I kind of like
I
that in the old Diablo though. Like where like is like a desolated landscape hell and like you're the only person there. Felt
yeah, yeah, something
strangely
to be said
void
about
of
that. But
yeah.
what if all of them were like that, right? It's like, well, I don't know if you think about it. It's like, what's the point of saving the world if I'm always if the new next one comes out, I'm still the only person that's able to do anything.
Carrying the
You know?
world on my back, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But
These NPCs are useless.
I enjoyed that. Let me table this for a little bit and let's get into what we actually got to play Diablo for. And I don't know how much you actually got to play Chip because you had so many issues. But when you actually
Probably
got into the game, what are your thoughts?
I probably got about like 2 or 3 hours over the course of like 8 hours of like constantly trying to connect. I think I
Okay.
did like most people on PC where like you got into like a ridiculous queue or something kept breaking and you're like, all right, let me try again in a half hour. So you
Yep.
like would like start another game for me. I was playing some League of Legends there, and I'd like do a match, and then I'd go back and try and get in. When I was trying to play single player, it worked fine, but like whenever I tried to like connect with other people, that's when we got issues. But every once in a while, we would just get together and everything worked fine. It just worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And during that, like I don't know, I've never been like the biggest Diablo 2 stan, loving that.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I always, for me, like I never really went too deep into the lore or any of that stuff. I was just like, it's a fun game. I was
Yeah.
like playing Necromancer and like running around letting skeletons and golems play. I played a necromancer in the new one. Got skeletons. They ran around. And they did things for me. I'm shocked at like how small skeleton party still is. It's like you get 4 skeletons. I'm like, come on, man. Don't we have the technology now to like really raise up a skeleton army? You know what I'm saying? I want like give me like 12 skeletons. Give me something. Give me 100. Give me
Yeah.
like a massive skeleton army. Like you don't have to be strong, but like just like like the sheer amount of terror that like a necromancer should like bring about in this pillaged landscape
Yeah.
that's desolated by hellspawn. Like give me something, man. Yeah, it looked great. A lot of the choices though, I looked at like how big it is, like 80 gigs, and I'm just like, you couldn't like because of like the perspective still, it's like top down, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
was
all
like,
4K textures though.
yeah. I'm just like I feel like they could have did something to like reduce the size here. I don't know if it's like algorithms or to compress the textures or just use like there's like you don't ever see all of the screens. So it's like I feel like they could have cheated a lot of these textures and like got around
Mm.
like to have like maybe half the size
Just
or a
do
quarter of the size.
loading in outside of it, so like perspective loading or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's that. That's an interesting thought. I'm curious how that would work in a top-down scenario. So you take like the screen resolution and you just blank out everything else as you're moving. I think the problem you get to is dealing with refresh rates at that point, right? It's like
Yeah.
when do you update the other side? As soon as it goes in, you have to update it like sub ticks, right? So I think
Yeah.
without having like the like loading screen issues. So I like on a development side, that's over my head at the moment personally. I don't know how you would
Yeah.
do. I get how you do it in a first person
We're
perspective
still running
and a
into
third
like
person
loading
perspective,
screen issues. Like whenever you hit like a bridge or something, you start rubber banding back and
because
stuff.
you're
It's
loading
constant.
into the next area.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part should be seamless, but I think the servers are getting just fucking hammered. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. Overall, so when I jumped in, I
Hey,
played
man,
as
how's your experience?
I'm
What'd you
playing as
do?
a barbarian. I played it on both PC and I played it on console. Um, I will say that let's talk about. I think PC is where I'm going to primarily play Diablo 4. I am going to buy the game. I'm not going to pre-order, but I do plan on buying it within the first week of launch.
Whoa.
Assuming
You
that,
played a barbarian?
yeah,
Let
yep. So
me just say this.
yeah.
Not surprised.
What is that supposed to mean?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not
What's
surprised.
that supposed to mean, motherfucker? What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not surprised that you play a barbarian, dude. That's all. It just seems like a very archetypical gimpy move.
Really, really?
Yeah.
How
So,
so?
like,
What are
I
you trying
think
to
you like
say?
to be powerful, big, strong. Yeah, do war cries, swinging axes and hammers around you. It just checks out, man. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I'll remember that. But anyway, I'm playing a barbarian, and
Take our Diablo 4 personality quiz and see what
yeah,
character you
right,
are. What's your character
exactly,
type?
exactly. So I'll talk about the console experience. The game looks fucking gorgeous on my TV. Um, the audio design is fucking spectacular. It utilized my surround sound beautifully.
Are you playing on the Xbox, you said?
Yeah, it's playing on the Xbox. Yeah, so I'm just chilling on my couch.
Series X or S?
Series X, yeah. So I got the surround sound cranked. I had the lights down. Just killed the demons of hell. Just laid back on my couch, chilling. Everything on the controller that was mapped, and I'm using this bad boy. So it's the Elite V2 with the paddles. But even without the paddles, everything's mapped wonderfully. It feels natural. It does. I don't feel hampered. All of my quick keys and stuff are set along the controller really well. Like when I was playing when we were co-op together, I could use all my abilities fine, including health pots, stuff like that. Felt great. It really felt great. Going back to the PC, it just feels more natural playing Diablo on PC, like an ARPG in general on PC, because that's how we played it for 20 years. It
Yeah.
just comes naturally. So that felt great. But I thought the early boss fight was a nice kind of showcase of what to expect for future bosses in the game. I thought the side quests, the main quests, and the world events were all very interesting in how they populated the world. I loved going around with you when you had your skeleton army and we just popped in that world event and just wrecked those things that spawned. If you noticed, there was another guy that was just kind of wandering the forest with us. He joined the world event with us and helped us kill
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like, oh
I
dang,
was like, that's the kind of a cool community moment, right? We never said a word to the guy. He just
yeah.
walked in,
It's
started
like, ooh,
hacking shit
loot.
up, left. You know, I thought
On
that was
his
really
way.
cool. You know, I thought that was, and I think like moments like that will be nice in the game. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's Diablo, so I'm sure there'll be scammers and people trying to do dupe swaps and all that shit. But for the beta, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a very good community event. I wish that the parties would stick, but like I said, I I like the gameplay. It did everything I wanted it to do, and the skill trees that they have for at least the barbarian that I said, it's so expansive, and it looks like I can, you know, create my character to how I want it. There's enough like variations where it feels unique to me that I'm excited about it. As far as loot stuff, and loot raid and stuff like that, obviously it's kind of tweaked for the beta, so you get like legendaries and stuff pretty quickly. But
yeah.
like I got like a legendary warball. That thing was fucking dope. So overall,
Hmm.
dude, I'm happy. Let's say network issues aside, it's a true beta, but I'm happy with it. And how about yourself
Did they say like how much content there was going to be? It's like I
in
think
the
they only
beta?
get up. No, just in the whole game. Like, is there like 4 acts or five or like?
I think it's let's say 4x. I think it's three large X though, but it might be four. But
Alright,
once you beat the game, the end game content has another like 40 hours of content.
okay. I don't know, man. Just it was all right. I don't know. Again, I'm not the
But
biggest.
you're
I've
not a
never
big
played. Yeah, I
sure,
never played Diablo 3. Like, again, my last Diablo entry was 2.
sure,
I never played Immortal. For good things about both. I know a lot of people love 3 and Immortal, even though all the horrible mobile transactions and mismarketing aside. As by all accounts, it's like it runs solid and everything else. But
sure.
it's I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be the Diablo game that gets me into the franchise after 2. Uh, I haven't liked the way Blizzard's done business in a while. I don't know if their things are going to change a bit if they do merge with Microsoft.
Sure.
Like, I didn't like how they dealt with like the StarCraft launch. Like, people forget where they like separated the game out into like 3 other like games with like each campaign and
That's
all
I
this
mean,
nonsense.
yeah, that was annoying, but they've been known for their expansions for years, and I think people just weren't used to having expansions anymore.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it.
it's like
Uh,
just give me the full game on the disc, dude. This is
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I still haven't completed the StarCraft 2, like all the campaigns
I'd
because of
be
that.
more excited if I could see like what they were doing with like PvP and like the clan. Because like just messing around the clan menus, I was like, oh, is there like a clan loot chest where we can like share loot with each other? Is there
Oh yeah,
anything like that? Yeah, there's like we could set a message of the day and an emblem. And I was like, oh, can we like throw down like a banner with our emblem on it? That'd be tight. And they're like,
yeah,
nah.
yeah.
So like I don't know, like cool stuff like that. Like I feel like we're in the future now where it's like, why are
Sure.
you still limiting your idea space to like very like mobile
I'm
ideas?
sure stuff like that will exist in the full
Yeah.
release. I just
Yeah,
think,
like give me like a
yeah,
button with an emote that where I just like plant a banner with like our clan on it, and then like we can like do like a clan PvP like out in the fields with other people. Give me like
yeah,
100v100 people out in the dark woods.
yeah. Like for me, like I know, like the group we play with, like Daniel-san, will probably love PvP. I don't really care for the only ARPG PvP that I enjoyed was one of the greatest games of all time, Nox. Uh, it had very interesting combat for an ARPG, and you had like full capture the flag game modes in like a top-down setting. I God damn it, that game was amazing. That's the only
I
one I
didn't
really
see.
enjoyed for PvP. The other stuff just seems like DPS click spam fest or whatever, and I'm
Yeah,
sure it's not. Maybe I'm not playing it right, but I enjoy the PVE elements more, or doing like nightmare runs in Diablo more than I do like the PvP aspect. But that's just me. I mean, there's a little
me.
something for everybody.
Let's build like our own little clan base out in the middle of the field. Like how they do like dungeon instances. Like let me just like plant down like a instance for our clan base, and then we can raid other clan bases. Give me a hardcore mode where people drop everything when we fight. That's what I want, dude. And they're not making that game because like I'm like a weirdo who's like in the 0.01 percentas
You stop
who's
there,
like,
brother. You are a weirdo.
how dare you? But yeah, man. Like I don't know. Like I just feel like there's like a whole play space that like they don't really cater to, like the your Elden Ring, your hardcore old school gamers who like the game is the fun, like make it more skill based than like loot based, and then like you know I think they got away from a lot of that stuff. Like I liked how you don't have to like spec like stat points and stuff anymore directly.
Yeah,
Because I was
yeah,
talking to my buddy, I was like, "Oh, can we still just do stat points?" He's like, "Nah, man. Like nobody enjoyed that shit." And I was like, "Man, you're kind of right. I really didn't enjoy that shit." Like,
yeah, yeah.
and then like I don't know, they have like things like tied to like level now instead. So there's trade offs and stuff.
I think it's interesting. I think I think it's a fine modernization of what we've come to expect. Um, and at this point, and I really enjoy the Diablo series. I enjoy the lore, but I would say I would not classify myself as an authority figure on it. I'm just a fan and
Yeah.
with a healthy respect for it. But I will say at the end of the day, uh, no game comes close to beating Diablo in the ARPG space. If you want to play an ARPG and you want a good time, it's Diablo, like S tier, and the rest.
Yeah, your Path
Like
of Exile, your Torch.
Path of Exile, Torchlight, yeah, they're good in their own rights, but they're always going to be below Diablo.
Yeah,
Quality, gameplay style, loot rate, just presentation, music. It's kind of
AAA, man.
it is what it is.
I
You
don't
get
like Diablo, and I've
if you
always had
come
a
for the
healthy
king,
fear of
come for
it.
the head. You don't like
Yeah,
Diablo, but do you like ARPGs?
I look, man. What was that old ass ARPG, Dungeons and Dragons, Neverwinter Nights? I thought that was pretty dope.
Neverwinter Nights was great. That's
Throwback, dude. That came out what, like 04, 05?
02, I
Yeah,
believe. That game was
or Book
was
of 02.
amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
Neverwinter Nights was great. No, I fully am with you on that. Did you ever play like the custom modules? Like people
yeah,
would make their own campaigns and
yeah. They
shit,
make
dude. That
whole
was
like
awesome.
modules. Yeah,
Yeah. That was sick. No, okay, yeah. So
that's what I'm
I kind of
saying. Like
see, I kind of see
that's
what
what
you're
I'm
looking
saying.
for in
Like
things. You
open
want
it,
open
open
ended,
it up
right? Yeah,
to content
Y-
creators. Like
yeah.
people who want to make like their own like lore or like runs or
Sure,
guilds or bases. Like
sure, sure. I get that, and that's commendable. I don't
nobody
want that in
wants it.
Diablo though.
Yeah,
That's
nobody,
what I mean. Like it's
nobody
just
does. It's
yeah,
not
right.
Diablo.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I should
So
just try and weasel my way into like a middle management position at Blizzard to make my own like spin-off using the Diablo assets.
I thought
Like,
it'd be interesting if they did like a spin-off, not of Diablo, but like of that gameplay style.
yeah,
But bring like one of their other properties in. I don't think there's like they've tried to expand the StarCraft world with like StarCraft Ghosts and things like that. Why not expand the Warcraft universe into an ARPG? I think that would work really very well. You went from strategy to an MMORPG. Why not
let me
go
tell you
go a
about a
different
little
route?
game called Heroes
Oh
of the Storm.
yeah, yeah,
Even like StarCraft Ghosts, man. Like they
yeah.
tend to like just like cancel things if they're not
They do.
making billions
They
of
do.
dollars. They're just like, yeah, no.
I really
I don't
hope
know, man.
the Microsoft acquisition increases their uh, creativity, in this space, because they work at a snail's pace a lot of the time, and
Yeah.
it's like a couple of genres. Sure, they try and perfect it as much as possible, but I think they're talented enough to do things. Like my big wish is for like a Lost Vikings 3, which is never going to happen. But I would love if like some really passionate people at Blizzard go, let's make this little game called Lost Vikings 3 and release it like at a $15 price point and just release it as like a small like thank you to people. Lost Vikings still to this day has some of the best like puzzle platformer elements ever.
What if Lost Vikings but look like God of War?
I'd be okay with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be down.
All right.
All right,
I don't
all
know.
right, you got me.
We kind of started this talking about like they're breaking like kind of like the social contract. I wonder if this
Yes.
almost backfires because a lot of people I talk to who were amped on this game are
Uh-huh.
like, I am not pre-ordering this game. I'm probably not going to buy it now until it comes out and I can like see that it's not this fucking broken mess. Uh, and I don't know. It's like from like the 4 or 5 people I was playing with, like that was like the sentiment across the board. And I was like, I didn't even have interest in it. And I was like, oh, maybe this will like maybe tilt me in the favor of like, oh, maybe I should pick this up. And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm still kind of indifferent to it. Like I don't hate it as much because of like the game developer perspective I have, where I'm like, oh, like most of the stuff I feel like you can fix the majority of it within 3 months, especially with all the information coming in from like so many
Yes.
different users. It's going to really help pinpoint like pain points and like the most notorious big bug breaks, and you can focus, your resources there to repair that stuff. So like for me, I wasn't like really turned off by like how janky and busted it was, but a lot of normies who just really don't understand like game development and everything else, they're just like, nah, I'm done. Like they're like, they were people like the most gun-ho people too on like Diablo franchise that I know, where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. One of them had a pre-order and they're like, kind of regret pre-ordering this now, dude. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How you feel? Does this like almost backfire going back to like an old school beta alpha release type thing?
This is the crux of the issue when I wanted to even talk to the pod about right at the end. So I think it's perfect timing. I think it's time for
Gimpy's final thought.
I think it's time for new marketing terms. I think that at this point in time, you have to separate what they're called. Because people are like, open beta test. The general public thinks that, oh, this is a free demo and the game is basically done. This should have been called something like a technical beta test with a caveat warning saying this is early release. You will experience bugs. Here's what we know about. Here's what you may experience. So people have, they can curb their expectations a bit.
Yeah.
And force surveys at the end of it. Like, do you remember when beta tests used to force a survey when you quit?
At the beginning and the end, they're like, hey, what kind of hardware are you using? What are you doing? What's up with what's your video game experience?
100%. If you make it more like a school project, people in the back of their mind will realize that this is not complete. You are helping with a technical test. Like other developers have ruined the term beta because now it's just become like open demo.
Marketing. Slick marketing.
It's a marketing thing. So I think that has to happen. I was never going to pre-order the game anyway, just because of how scummy Blizzard has been.
Yeah. I've been against pre-orders since the beginning of time, dude. I was just like, they're not going to be motivated to finish the actual game if you pre-order it.
Yeah.
They just want your money at that point.
The game itself, when it's working, I'm having a blast with it. It's scratching that ARPG itch that I didn't know I had.
Oh.
And I plan on picking it up. I think Blizzard's in the right direction, and we are in a new era of Blizzard where all of the people who have ever worked on Diablo have since left the company. They've gone and started Path of Exile. They've gone and started Torchlight. They've like the big guys. They've moved on. But I think that this next release has so much of the TLC and the soul of the Diablo franchise, where we're at the point now where Diablo's over 20 years old. People who grew up playing it are making it now. So, I think that it's the point where the fans are kind of guiding the franchise now, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing for evolution of the series, and I think it's a good thing to show that gaming as a whole. Keep in mind, it's the youngest entertainment genre that we have. Music being the oldest, or literature being the oldest, music being second oldest, or vice versa, and movies, and then us and the gaming sphere. So I think that what are we experiencing with movies? Remakes. We're experiencing remakes of movies from like 30, 40, 50 years ago. What we're experiencing gaming, we are now experiencing remakes of these things, and we're experiencing sequels set 30, 20 years later. And I think that as far as if we take out all the technical issues right now, I think Diablo 4 is in a very good state. It's in a much better state than I thought it would be in after the disastrous Diablo 3 launch, and I'm excited for what's coming for the game. I'm ready to murder Lilith in Diablo 4 just like I did in Marvel Midnight Suns. So I'm ready for it, dude. I'm excited, but your mileage may vary. But I'd have to say this is a real beta test, and don't let the technical issues be your final judge.
Let Gimpy be your final judge when the game comes out and he plays it. Wait for his review.
You're right.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're also like, it's such a young industry too. Like we're finally seeing like generational pushback as well. Like you said, with like each of those forms, like there's always like people just want to sit around listen to people tell stories all day, or people just want to read books all the time. People just want to listen to music. It's the degradation of the youth or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
This is the video game's turn right now in the sun. It's ruining the youth's mind. It's corrupting them.
100%. All right, man. I think that's going to do it for this episode.
If a lawsuit in Australia for Fortnite, they're making this game incredibly addictive for children. We're suing you.
No shit, dumb fuck. On that note, This has been the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Mr. Gimpy.
Chipmunk.
You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Like,
Take care.
share, subscribe.
We
out.
out.
Peace.